What do you do when God calls you to leave everything? Your home, your security, your comfort, even the life you've known for decades. What do you do when obedience costs you something? When the leap of faith feels terrifying, but staying would cost you your freedom? Sis, today I want to continue the story of the moment I fully surrendered to God's will. Because leaving the toxic cycle I was in for 17 years came with a cost. But what I didn't know yet was that God had already made a way. Real quick, before we get into today's episode, I would love for you to come join our private Facebook community, aka our Royal Guard. The link is in the show notes. And don't forget to follow the show so you don't miss an episode. And it would bless me big if you could leave a review on Apple Podcast. It really does help other women find this space of healing, love, and support. Also, share it with a sister that needs to know God always makes a way. Let's get into today's show. Hey sis, welcome back to another episode of Girl Date the Good Guy. It's your girl Emily, and thank you so much for being here with me today. You know, when everything started falling apart in my life, I knew deep down God was calling me out of the dead things, but I had no idea what I was going to do. I was waiting for the eviction to finalize. I had no financial safety net, no clear plan, no idea where I was going, and yet I knew I couldn't stay. Sometimes when God calls you out, He doesn't give you the full picture. He only gives you the next step. I remember sitting on the couch one morning, coffee in my hand, praying, God, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Financially, I had nothing. Now, let me say something that might shock people. My ex actually owed me over $500,000, and God asked me to release the debt. And I know what some people are thinking. That's crazy. Why would you do that? But let me tell you something about money when it's tied to control. When that kind of money keeps you emotionally and spiritually captive, it's not worth the fight. Because it keeps you connected to the very cycle God is trying to free you from. I had already been healing for a decade, but the last chain still holding me there was financial control, and I had to release it once and for all. And at one point, my ex had said to me, I'll pay for you to have an apartment and the girls can come live with me. On the surface, that might sound generous, but when you know someone's heart, you know the truth. Everything that came from him had strings attached. Control, manipulation, power, and I knew if I accepted that offer, that bowl of cherries, I would still be trapped. So I kindly declined. And in that moment, I felt the Holy Spirit nudge me. Start packing. Now, let's be honest. I was being evicted for goodness sake, and I had no idea where I was going. But obedience doesn't always make sense in the moment. That morning that I was sitting on the couch, still praying, still seeking God, I felt another nudge from the Holy Spirit. Go listen to one of your favorite podcasts. At that point, all I had was God, and I knew if I didn't draw near to Him, I wouldn't know what steps to take. So I opened up Apple Podcast, and the episode that day was titled, A Supernatural Move of God. I can't make it up. And let me tell you something. That is exactly what happened. After listening to that episode, I sat with God the rest of the day, praying, listening, seeking, and once again I felt a quiet whisper in my spirit, call your brother. And mind you, me and my brother, we only spoke here and there. We weren't like talking every single day. This was absolutely a moment where God was like, call your brother. And I remember thinking, really? But obedience is obedience. So I made the call. And sis, everything I needed was taken care of. Every detail. God had already prepared the way. But the enemy was still fighting me because he knew something I didn't fully understand yet. He knew that if I got out of that toxic cycle, God would give me the courage to tell my story, to start this podcast, to help women all over the world break free from the same cycles that kept them in bondage. The enemy wanted me stuck, silent, defeated, but God had a different plan. The week I had to leave my home, I was incredibly sick, emotionally drained, heartbroken, because the reality was setting in. I was leaving everything I had known for nearly 2 decades. My home, my routine, my life, and even though I knew God was leading me, it was still very painful. Faith doesn't remove grief, but what I didn't know yet was the restoration that was coming. Sis, I don't know where you are right now. Maybe your life feels like it's falling apart. Maybe doors are closing. Maybe you're scared because you can't see the future. But hear me when I say this. God will make a way. I want to say that again. God will make a way. There was a moment in my life where I truly did not know where I was going until God showed me the door out. Keep trusting, keep praying, keep seeking Him. He will open the door. He will make the way. He will either set you free or place you exactly where you're meant to be, even when it feels like everything is collapsing. Sis, this was only the beginning, because what happened after I left was the start of healing and restoration I never saw coming. And tomorrow we're continuing the story. And just so you know, I won't be releasing Soothe Soul Saturday this week because the story needs to continue. And I can't wait to tell you what happened this week. I love when God sends His little winks, those moments that remind you, I see you, I hear you, and I'm with you. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye for now.